Yeah. So we are coming in with a force. Yeah. Blessings we are reaping, we coursing on full. Oh, we not rise and boast. Yeah, we give thanks like we need it the most. We have to give thanks like we really supposed to be thankful. Blessings all for my life and...
Hi guys, welcome back to Tanesha's Chronicles. Today I'm going to be talking about something that plays a very major role in my life. So I was born with a form of congenital heart disease, and it turns out this week between the 7th to the 14th of February is actually Congenital Heart Disease / Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week in the US. And be worldwide. But also I've seen some UK people talk about it. Plus, the British Heart Foundation has declared February National Heart Month. So I thought, why not share my story, tell you what I've experienced, tell you how it's made me feel and where I'm at now. So, while people are doing up love hearts and getting prepared for Valentine's Day, I thought I'd come and tell you about my own heart. I know that sounds so cheesy, but we move. Let's go. So I was born with a form of congenital heart disease known as Tetralogy of Fallot. Now, symbolically, if you were to ask me at my big 24 years of age, Tanisha, what is that? I will just stare and smile at you and say yes, because I have no idea. Or until, did my research, Google told me, and now I have an idea. I mean, I've been through child clinic, adult clinic, parents have sat me down, doctors, nurses, transition people, and they've definitely shown me diagrams and explained what it is, but it's like it just hasn't sunk in. However, the one thing I did know was that Tetralogy of Fallot comes with 4 birth defects. So what did I type into Google? What are the 4 birth defects of Tetralogy of Fallot? And here I am to tell you. So, number 1, the 2 lower chambers of the heart are separated, and basically a hole in the heart, and it's called ventricular septal defect. Number 2, narrowing, so your pulmonary valve and your main pulmonary artery are narrow. So, I had to research this. The pulmonary valve normally acts like a one-way door from your heart's right ventricle to the lungs. Blood flows from the right ventricle through the pulmonary valve to the pulmonary artery and then into the lungs, where it picks up oxygen to deliver to your body. Defect number 3. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. The aortic valve is enlarged and opens from both ventricles, whereas in a normal heart, it only opens from the left ventricle. Had to research this too. So, the aortic valve is the main outflow valve for the left heart. This is the valve between the heart and the body. The aortic valve opens when the left ventricle squeezes to pump out blood and closes in between heartbeats to keep blood from going back into the heart. And the 4th defect, the muscular wall of the lower right chamber of the heart, the right ventricle, is thicker than normal. This is also known as ventricular hypertrophy. But yeah, I'm encourage you lot to do your own research, because I still have further research. And I'm going to put a couple links in the description so we can all, gain some knowledge, But basically, so every couple of years since I was born, I've had to get my pulmonary valve, I believe, replaced. And between those, I'd have like minor surgeries where I'd have things called stents placed into my pulmonary valve to widen it, essentially, so the blood and stuff could pass through. I think I was even on aspirin at one point to thin my blood. It's been a mad one. And you know what? It's actually been mad from the start. Like, let's get into the story of when I was born. So yeah, the story. So I was born in the British Virgin Islands. And when I was born, they said I had something called imperforate anus. Now, I've done a video about growing up with kyphoscoliosis, which is a spine condition. And I believe in that video I mentioned that I have I was born with several birth defects, and altogether these birth defects were known as vacuole association. So imperforated anus was one of them, and alongside this they noticed that I had an abnormal heart rate, which meant I had problems and I needed urgent care. So the problem was the hospital did not have the facilities to accommodate me and to treat my case. So the decision was made that I'd be going to Puerto Rico. However, the problem was that loads of people from the BVI had loads of debt in hospitals in Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico said no, they weren't going to take me. The hospitals weren't going to accept me. So luckily, my mum had or has an uncle in the US who's actually a doctor, and he made arrangements for me to go and have my care and treatment in America. Again, luckily, my parents had medical insurance, and luckily, part of that medical insurance was an air ambulance. Unluckily, the air ambulance couldn't come because they were in Florida, so they couldn't get out till late. So the decision was made for me and my dad to take a commercial flight. Luckily, my dad used to work for American Airlines, so he had connections. So the flights, so it'd be 2 flights, one from the BVI to Puerto Rico, then from Puerto Rico to the US. Cool. Nurse came with us because I was in a critical condition, so it was the nurse, my dad, and baby Tanisha. I must have been so cute. I was cute. You should see pictures. Well, yeah. So nurse, dad, baby Tanisha. Turns out when we got to the airport, I don't know if you heard how loud that was. Turns out when we got to the airport that the plane had actually waited over an hour for me to arrive. Madness, isn't it? Because I don't really know which commercial flights are waiting over an hour for anybody. Never heard of that, but we move. Sadly, when I got there, the flight attendant noticed that I had an oxygen tank, and apparently according to like flight safety rules and stuff, you weren't really allowed an oxygen tank on the plane. So at this point, everyone's sad. Everyone's like, yikes, the girl's gonna die. Like, we came this way for what? But anywho, something must have possessed the flight attendant, because she comes back like moments later with an oxygen tank, and everyone's like, whoop, yeah. So done the flight from BVI to Puerto Rico. Cool. Reach Puerto Rico now, and the connecting flight from Puerto Rico to the US, yeah, no, they don't have an oxygen tank. So now I'm stranded in Puerto Rico, the same place that originally refused my treatment. We're now having to find hospitals that would take me. So even the airline staff are calling hospitals to see if anyone can take me and treat me. All of them are saying no, 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 no. Finally find one, arrive at the place. Yikes, her case is too risky, we can't do it. Cool. Get sent to another hospital. Get there, and essentially the cardiologist came to see if I was in a stable condition. No, I was not. I had to have emergency surgery. Turns out, now listen to the plot twist. If I had got on the connecting flight, I wouldn't have made it. As in, I would have been dead right now. This video would not be in process. Like, do you know how mad that is to me? It's so mad because when I think about that story, the things that go through my mind, the first thing that goes through my mind is my favorite Bible story, or one of my favorite Bible stories, the story of Esther. Now, when you read the book of Esther, God's name is not mentioned in any of those chapters, yet in each story, you see how God's hand is in it. The story I've just told you, I did not mention God. I don't know if my parents, they probably did pray or whatever, but even if, you still see how God stepped in each time. And the things that I really get from it is, one, even when it seems bleak, like God will literally step in at that last moment and be like, ha, you thought it was about to end, but it wasn't. As in, everyone was thinking, oh, she's gonna die, she can't have the tank. Got an oxygen tank. Everyone's thinking, oh my gosh, you can't get on a connecting flight. If I had got on the connecting flight, I would have died. That's even another point. Sometimes we want it to go our way. We think we know best. But God is like, Nabi, stop. I know what I'm doing. You need to pause and just trust the process. I think another thing that comes up for me is if he's done it before, he will do it again. There's so many times where I lose faith and I think to myself, God ain't coming through for me. What's going on? Like, I need you now. And then I think about my story and I think about other things God has done in my life that have been just as powerful. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, God has done this. He can do that and much more again. Why am I fearing? Why am I scared? What is there to be scared of? God is big and mighty. I think my friend even said it in her radio show, shout out He Hears You, Josephine, that when we were younger, we used to sing that song, My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that He cannot do for you. And we sing these songs as little people, but when we get older, we don't actually deep the words of these songs, you know. Like, these weren't just songs, these are facts. And the biggest thing I get from this story, so let me just bring it to now. I've been struggling so badly with insecurity. Like, it started off with my looks, and now it's like it's just seeping into literally every area of my life, from employment, like the job I do, to the friendships I have, literally everything. And currently it's seeping into my purpose and who I am and what God wants me to be, where God wants me to serve. And I'm like, what is going off? And it's funny because just before I made this video, so I was watching a sermon and it was called Stop Comparing Your Purpose, and it was all about purpose and whatnot. And as I was watching that, I was scrolling and I found out it was Congenital Heart Disease Awareness Week, and I was like, oh rah, oh my gosh, do the two interlink? Like, my whole life people have told me God didn't bring you through all of that and everything you've been through for no reason. Like, there's clearly a link there, and I've always said it to myself, but sometimes that falters and I forget. But I'm telling you now, it sounds so mad, but having all the problems I've had has taught me to be empathetic. It's taught me to be sympathetic. It's grown me English. Wow. It's developed the ability for me to be sensitive to people's situations and actually want to help and care and help people through their pain because of the pain I've been through. And I just have to thank God every day for it. It sounds crazy, but it's helped a lot with me establishing my purpose. Hence Tenacious Chronicles, hence other spaces I make for people to come and talk to me. And it's just been a blessing. Even though it's been painful, it's turned out to be a blessing. And it reminds me of that verse, and I'm going to read the verse, you know. Romans 8, verse 28, but I'm going to read the New Living Translation. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose for them. Now, I'm really not going to sit here and act like I'm always happy about having these problems. Like, I'm always like, yes, 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 thank you, Lord, all my days. There are times where I really just sit and cry. And I just have to ask God, what was the reason? I mean, we've already established the reason, my purpose. But sometimes I lose hope of that. Sometimes I'm just like, God, what is going off? Like, it really gets me down. And sometimes I feel an expectation is placed upon me. Like, as an adult, I should really be used to it by now. But if anything, as an adult, it really stresses me out still. Like, I have to take time off work to go to appointments, as in I don't get paid for that. What? It really causes anxiety some days. Like, doctor's appointments, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what they're going to say in this appointment. Oh my gosh, what they're going to do for this test. Oh my gosh, I have to do another test. What they're going to find. Oh my gosh, blood test. It is a lot. Then growing up, this scar, it was the end of the world if anyone saw my scar. I've become accustomed to it now. I still won't say I love it or I like it. But growing up, I absolutely hated it. I thought it made me the ugliest person in the world. Then we have the comparison of people around me not having, like, do you know what? I know everyone goes through problems, but you know, sometimes you like people to go through things with you. And this is why I kind of like weeks like this, because I feel like I'm not alone. I also don't like weeks like this because I realize, oh my gosh, other people are going through the pain of having heart defects and abnormalities and other types of suffering, and it really hurts me. But the comparison of not having people around me like with this condition and not being able to talk to people and not being able to do things that they could do, especially growing up, I was like, oh my gosh, like they can go there and they can do that, and I'm being told, no, you have to be careful of this, no, you can't do this, no, you have to watch out for this, and it's like, it's not fair. Literally, that's the first thing that would ever come to my head. I think even growing up during primary school and stuff, I would miss out on days of fun because I'd be in hospital. I remember when I was 15, I missed the whole summer because I had open heart surgery. Like, that was literally my life. It still is my life, and sometimes it can be so painful. But then I remember this verse here, Psalms 139, verse 13 to 17. New Living Translation again, because I just like it. And it says, you made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous, how well I know it. You watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion, as I was woven together in the dark of the womb. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed. How precious are your thoughts about me, O God. Oh wow, I feel the tears, They cannot be numbered. As in, God knew everything I would face. And it's like he said, cool, you're going to face this, but I'm going to be along with you every step of the way. I had plans for you. I was thinking about you whilst I was forming you. I said, okay, this is going to happen, but this is how we're going to make it work for your good and for blessings towards other people. And oh my days, I feel like English, what is wrong? I feel like when I reframe things like that, it makes things easier. And before I finish this video, I might do a part 2 of like mental health and stuff. Might even do a vlog of an appointment or whatever, be a little cheesy. The verse that I want to leave you with is Psalms 23 verse 4. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid. For you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. This verse has really been with me lately, as in, there are problems are going to arise in your life. You're going to be in darkness, but God is there leading you, guiding you, comforting you. He wants you to seek him. Even if you can't see his name, you don't feel his presence, I'm telling you, he is there holding you up. He is there guiding you. You just need to go to him for it. I don't believe in coincidences, and one thing I want to come and tell everyone here, like, everything you've been through, no mistake. None at all. Yes, we've all put ourselves in situations and whatever, but each time we've been plucked out of those situations, or even if we haven't been removed, we've been sustained in those situations, and we're still standing here today. You are precious the way you are made. So shake that insecurity, because you were made the way you were for a reason. God was thinking about you as he was shaping you. Man thinks about you every day. Life may not be easy. It hasn't been easy. And to be fair, life isn't supposed to be easy. The only thing that was promised is death. But find peace in knowing that even in the silence, the dark, the anxious moments, God's hand is right there. And I feel like, wow, my tongue is reading up today. But I've tried to record this video several times, and I've just come to realize, let me just speak from my heart. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just hope someone out there has been touched by the story or something. You've taken something and you're now going to apply it to your life. I'm going to try and apply it to my life much more. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe and share. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.